The material world 1. It is important to note, the material world which one should detach from actually refers to one's desires. It does not refer to the physical world, such as the mountains. This is indicated by chapter 3 Ali Imran, verse 14.
Beautified for people is the love of that which they desire, of women and sons, heaped up sums of gold and silver, fine branded horses and cattle and tilled land. That is the enjoyment of worldly life, but Allah has with him the best return, i.e. paradise.
These things are connected to the desires of people, and by them one becomes distracted from preparing for the hereafter. When one abstains from their desires, they are in fact detaching from the material world. This is why a Muslim who does not possess worldly things can still be regarded a worldly person because of their inner desire and love for it. Whereas, a Muslim who possesses worldly things, like some of the righteous predecessors, can be considered detached from the material world as they do not desire and occupy their minds, hearts and actions with them. Instead they desire lies in the eternal hereafter. The first level of abstinence is turning away from unlawful and vain desires, which are not connected to the pleasure of Allah, the Exalted. This person busies themselves in fulfilling their duties and responsibilities, all the while focusing on the hereafter. They turn away from things and people who prevent them from fulfilling this important deed. The next stage of abstinence is when one takes only the things they need from the material world, in order to fulfill their necessities and responsibilities. They do not occupy their time on things which will not derive them benefit in the next world. This is the advice given by the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in a narration found in Sahih Bukhari, number 6416. He advised a Muslim to live in this material world, as a stranger or a traveler. Both types of people will only take what they need from the material world in order to reach their destination, meaning the hereafter, safely. A Muslim can achieve this by understanding how close their death and departure to the hereafter is. Not only can death pounce on a person at any time, but even if one lives a long life, it seems as though it passed in a moment. By realizing this reality, one sacrifices the moment for the sake of the eternal hereafter. Shortening one's hope for a long life in this material world will encourage them to perform righteous deeds, sincerely repent from their sins, and prioritize preparing for the hereafter over all else. The one who hopes for a long life will be inspired to behave in the opposite manner. The one who is truly abstinent in the material world neither blames it nor praises it. They do not rejoice when they gain it, nor do they grieve when it passes them by. The mind of this pious Muslim is too focused on the eternal hereafter to greedily notice the small material world. Abstinence consists of several different levels. Some Muslims abstain in order to free their hearts of every vain and useless occupation, so that they can fully concentrate on obeying Allah, the Exalted, and fulfill their responsibilities towards people. According to the narration found in Sunan Ibn Majah, number 257, the one who behaves in such a manner will find that Allah, the Exalted, will suffice them by taking care of their worldly issues. But the one who is only concerned with worldly things will be left to their devices and will find nothing but destruction. This is why it is being said that the one who pursues the excess of this material world, such as excess wealth, will find that the minimal effect it has on them is that it distracts them from the remembrance and obedience of Allah, the Exalted. This is still true even if a person commits no sins in their pursuit of the excess aspects of the material world. Some abstain from the world in order to lighten their accountability on the Day of Judgment. The more one possesses, the more they will be held accountable. In fact, whoever has their deeds scrutinized by Allah, the Exalted, on Judgment Day will be punished. This has been warned in a narration found in Sahih Bukhari, number 6536. The lighter one's accountability, the less likely this will occur. It is why the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, warned in a narration found in Sahih Bukhari, number 6444, that those who possess plenty in the world will possess very little good on the day of rising, except for those who dedicated their belongings and wealth in ways pleasing to Allah, the Exalted, but these are a few in number. This long accountability is the reason why each person, rich or poor, will wish on the Day of Judgment that they were only given their daily provision during their lives on earth. This has been confirmed in narration found in Sunan Ibn Majah, number 4140. Some Muslims abstain from the excess of this material world out of desire for paradise, which will make up for losing out on the pleasures of this material world. Some abstain from the excess of the material world out of fear of hell. They rightfully believe that the more one indulges in the excess of this material world, the closer they are to the unlawful, which leads to hell. This has been warned in a narration found in Jami' at-Tirmidhi, number 1205. In fact, it is why the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, advised in a narration found in Sunan Ibn Majah, number 4215, that a Muslim will not become pious until they abstain from something which is not a sin, out of fear it may lead to a sin. The highest degree of abstinence is to understand and act on what Allah, the Exalted, desires from His servants, which has been mentioned throughout the Holy Quran and the narrations of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Namely, to abstain from the excess of the material world out of servanthood to Allah, the Exalted, knowing that their Lord does not like the material world. Allah, the Exalted, has condemned the excess of this material world and has belittled its worth. These pious servants were embarrassed that their Lord should see them inclining towards something which He dislikes. These are the greatest servants, as they only act according to the wishes of their Lord, even when they are given an opportunity to enjoy the lawful luxuries of this world. This is the very reason why the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, chose poverty even though he was offered the treasuries of the earth. This has been advised in a narration found in Sahih Bukhari, number 6590. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, chose this as he knew it was what Allah, the Exalted, desired for His servants. As Allah, the Exalted, disliked the material world, the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, rejected it out of love for his Lord. How can a true servant love and indulge in what their Lord dislikes? The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, did set an example for the poor by choosing poverty and taught the rich how to live through his words and actions. He could have easily chosen the alternative, and practically showed the rich how to live by taking the treasuries of the world which were offered to him, and he could have taught the poor how to live correctly through his words and actions. But he chose poverty for a specific reason, which was out of servanthood to his Lord, Allah, the Exalted. This abstinence was adopted by the companions, may Allah be pleased with them. For example, the first rightly guided Caliph of Islam, Abu Bakr Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, once cried when water sweetened with honey was given to him. He explained that he once observed the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, pushing away an invisible object. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told him the material world had come to him and he commanded it to leave him alone. The material world replied that he had escaped the material world, but those after him would not. Because of this, Abu Bakr Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, wept when seeing the water sweetened with honey, believing the material world had come to misguide him. This incident is recorded in Imam Ashfa'ani's Hilyat al-Awliya, number 47. In reality, the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, never ate or dressed to gain pleasure, but only took what they needed from the material world while focusing on preparing for the hereafter. They disliked when the material world was placed at their feet, being fearful that perhaps their reward had been given to them in this world instead of in the hereafter. Anyone who is truly abstinent will follow in their footsteps. Muslims should not fool themselves by indulging in the unnecessary luxuries of this material world while claiming their heart is attached to Allah, the Exalted. If a person's heart is purified, it manifests on their limbs and in their actions, which is confirmed in a narration found in Sahih Muslim, number 4094. Whoever's heart is attached to Allah, the Exalted, follows in the footsteps of the righteous predecessors by taking what they need from the material world, spending only for the sake of Allah, the Exalted, and turning away from the excess of the material world while striving to prepare for the hereafter. This is true abstinence. Over 400 free ebooks, audiobooks, infographics, podcasts and blogs available on our website, www.shaykhpod.com.